Good afternoon, and welcome to the April 12th Park and Rec Commission meeting. It's being conducted in person and by teleconference. Commissioners, let's each state our name so we know who's present, beginning to...
Amy Johnson.
Leroy Floor.
Carissa Buchler.
I'm Bob Skillings.
Dave Christian.
Deb Lunenburg.
Jim Bastian.
Thank you, Commissioners. So we're going to go to item 3, the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve our agenda today?
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve our agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. Commissioners, we need to approve the minutes from the March 8th, 2021 meeting. Is there a motion to do so?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second the minutes.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the March 8th, 2021 Park and Rec Commission minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sign, motion carries. Item number 5 is a city council meeting recap. And
You
our,
want me to do them?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Recap, March 16th, 2021, regular meeting. Receive and order file the Planning Commission's recommendation for our next neighborhood parks and Park and Recreation Commission's next neighborhood parks matrix and rankings. And they also authorized the resolution agreement with Minnesota Deed grant for the shade structure of the amphitheater in German Park, which that was approved. The money's coming for that. And also authorized a Minnesota DNR grant application for Upper Cottonwood Park Street and accepted donations. April 6th meeting, 2021. Regular meeting, authorized participating in the Minnesota Green Steps Cities program, awarded the Herman Heights Park landscaping project to Leading Edge Landscapes for $19,085.
thank you, Counselor Christian. Is there any commissioners have a question about that recap? Okay, we'll move on to number 6 is our old business. And there we have the Renew update.
All right. Thank you, Chair Skillings. I am happy to report that the rec center closed officially for the final phase of construction. It closed officially on Saturday afternoon. The crew spent today moving all the fitness equipment over to the Civic Center, and it's going to all be relocated to the South Arena. And the gym courts that were used for like activities, they'll also come over to the Civic Center. We're also using the Civic Center for vaccine clinics, so it's a busy place right now. We're going to take the week to get everything moved over, get everything set up, rearranged, and reopen on Monday. So everybody's memberships have been extended for that 9 days that were shut down, and then we'll be operating out of the Civic Center completely by Monday of next week. Work that's been taking place at the rec center, the glass curtain, they're starting to put in the glass panels and the glass curtain walls on the exterior of the building. They're doing case work. They're going to start some drywalling in the fitness center on the 19th. In the indoor pool, the pool walls are being poured and the floor is being poured, and they're moving from the deep end of the pool to the shallow end. So they're probably maybe half-ish done with that part of it. Locker room fixtures are complete. Doors, they're putting in doors. They're going to be putting in partitions here in the next couple weeks. The TGA, the ceiling finishes and HVAC things are kind of on hold because there's some decisions that need to be made there. Phase 2 construction started with the bathroom demo in the field house part of the building. So that's going full steam ahead. They've taken down the walls into the old welcome desk area there because we're making room for additional fitness there. And exterior burnish block is being installed, and they're going to be starting site grading and pond construction towards the end of the month. So everything's moving along. It's about 55% complete. Things are going good. Everything is on time, remains on time for now. So that's what I have.
Assistant Director Corman, question about the pond. Where is that located?
It's like the stormwater pond. That'll be toward Center and Garden in that corner.
Will there still be room over there for parking?
Yes. There's additional parking lot going in or extending in toward Center Street farther.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
You bet.
We'll move on to new business, item number 7.1.
Donations. So we're fortunate to get another big long list of donations for this month. I will read those into the record. $6,800 was donated from ISD and Community Ed for the Rec on the Go program for the summer. For German Park Amphitheater, we received $10 cash from Lucille Wessel, $100 cash honoring Wally Ebert from Levon Ebert. For German Park Paver Stones, we received $200 from Betty Baumberger, and that is honoring Teresa or Terry Baumberger Richter. $200, actually all these are going to be from Betty Baumberger. They're honoring the following people. So $200 is honoring Kathy Mae Baumberger, $200 in memory of James Lester Baumberger, $200 in memory of Fred Joseph Baumberger, $200 in memory of Sherry Louise Baumberger, $200 in memory of Joanne Becker, $200 honoring Bradley Ray Becker, $200 honoring Nancy Jean Baumberger Becker. $2,270 in cash was received from the Herman Monument Society for Herman Heights Park Paver Stone Walkway. A wooden bench honoring Harvey Yanni that will be placed at the Civic Center. Its value is $486.89. It is the first payment of 2 from Mary Jean Yanni. $250 for Herman Monument, donated from Derek Wyrine. A Fred W. Johnson plaque from the New Ulm Baseball Association. A Bob Weber plaque from the New Ulm Baseball Association and Cathedral High School. And a memory plaque or part of the scoreboard in memory of Jess Roiger will be placed on the bottom of the scoreboard, and that is from the New Ulm Baseball Association. A bench in memory of Jess Roiger from the New Ulm Baseball Association will be placed in Mueller Park. $1,500 cash donation from the Optimist Club for the Youth Easter Egg program that took place in German Park a couple weeks ago. And then some kettlebells for general fitness use from Sharon Olson, totaling $13,416.89 in cash donations, 2 kettlebells, 3 plaques or signs, and 1 bench.
Thank you, Assistant Director Corman. I just want to clarify, the Fred Johnson plaque was funded by the New Ulm Area Foundation.
Okay.
The Bob Wire plaque is being funded by Cathedral High School. And then the sign and bench for Jess Roiger comes from the family and friends donations for Jess Reuger.
Thank you.
So counselors, we need to have a motion and a second to recommend these donations to the city council.
So moved.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to recommend to the city council these donations that have been received by the city park and rec department. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. Next item of new business is 7.2, the BMX camping request.
Commission members, this is a request that is made before the group on an annual basis. It is to request permission for overnight camping for the BMX Minnesota State Qualifying Racing Event on June 11th, 12th, and 13th. And they make this request every year. It is to camp in South German Park and have recreational fires, not to exceed 5 recreational fires within the park.
Thank you. Counselor, or commissioners, we need a motion and a second.
Yeah, it's just a clarifying question. Cheryl, did I hear you correctly? You said that this is something that we've been doing annually, and we haven't had any issues with it at all. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I move we recommend this to the city get them to go for it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to recommend the BMX camping request to the city council. Any further discussion?
Just a comment answering Commissioner Bugler's, that no, we have not had any issues, but I don't believe, Cheryl, we did it last year, right? Because of the, right. But the last 6-7 years, there's been no issues at all.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7.3 of the new business. New Ulm Baseball Association has requested a letter from the city in support of our bid for the 2023 Minnesota Amateur Baseball Class B and C tournaments at Johnson and Miller Parks. As you might recall, we had that bid in 2020, but because of COVID, we could not have the tournament. And so we're making that bid for the 2023 tournament and hoping to get a letter of support from the city.
I'll motion to recommend the city forward letters to the Minnesota Baseball Association supporting the New Ulm Baseball Association's bid to host the 2023 Minnesota Amateur Baseball Class B and Class C tournament in Johnson and Mueller Parks.
Motion's been made and seconded to have the city send that letter to the Minnesota Baseball Association. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. Item number 7.4, new business, Herman Fest 2021 requests.
Commissioners, this is a request also, that is an annual request that is made and brought to the commission on behalf of the Herman Monument Society for their celebration in September, this year, the 11th. And the requests are the same, and that is to utilize Herman and Harmon Park for live music, cannon fire, food, beverage, vending, fireworks to be discharged at Herman Heights Park, the fire department to remain on standby at the fireworks discharge site, police department for traffic control and fest security, public works to provide street closing barricades, temporary closure of Center Street between Garden and Highland from approximately 8:15 to 9 p.m. to accommodate the fireworks discharge, and temporary on-sale liquor permit. And the request would be to approve this request and send on to the city council.
Is there a motion to do so?
I have a question on this. Last year, when this came up, it was canceled because of COVID. And Mr. Firth was here, and I had brought up the problem of not enough lighting. And I don't know how to present that to them, but I think that when people are coming, you can't see.
Are you talking within Harmon Park?
Right.
Okay, I know that not last year, but the year before, they did leave the lights on Field 3.
Okay. Because, yeah, if you're looking for somebody, there's no way you're going to find anybody. But that's good.
A motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to pass this on to city council.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to recommend the Herman Fest 2021 request to the city council. Any further discussion?
Just cross your fingers, we can do it this year. I hope.
I appreciate the Herman Fest committee just sharing that they are working with public health to determine, where we're at that point in time. And that's part of it. So appreciate their efforts.
And they do a great job with the fest.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. Item number 7.5, a new business. The Turner Gymnastics Academy lease agreement.
Commissioners, staff has been working with the city manager and the Turner Gymnastics Academy to draft a lease for the Gymnastics Academy within the Recreation Center, and they've been working on this for the last several years. And we need to move forward with a signed lease agreement, an approved lease agreement between all parties. And so in your packets, I believe you have a copy of that lease agreement, that proposed lease agreement. We believe everything is in order except for a fee. The study was done by staff and private consultant that led to an estimated $5,000 in costs per month. But know that this is just an estimate. It's an educated guess based on, analyzing the space and what's all involved. There's really not a way to separate out utilities because the rec center only has 1 meter. But through this analysis, this is the cost that it was determined to be estimated at. I guess it's not determined, but it's estimated. The fee in this agreement can be readdressed at any time in the future, whether it's a year, or 2 after they've operated. We could better get a grasp on the fees. So what are your thoughts on this proposed lease? And it also states that no other user groups, at least not athletic user groups in the Park and Rec system, pays 100% of the cost of the facility. So just take that under advisement.
But the
And so-
$5,000 would be 100%.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that acceptable to the groups?
If there's some representatives in the audience, if you want to come up and speak, you're sure welcome to. If you come up to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. My name is Matthew Berger. Address is 121 South Franklin Street. I am here today as the president of the New Ulm Turnverein. And we've appreciated working with city staff on this. It has been a long process. We are looking forward to being in the new facility and kind of continuing to advance gymnastics in the city. Through this process, the kind of initial estimates, ballparking, were the $5,000 operational costs that the city had come up with. That was initially based on a 12,000 square foot space. Through changes in the process, the space has been reduced to 10,000 square feet. We've also done some research with other cities that have similar facilities. Ultimately, nobody will know what the costs are until we're actually in the space and can see. But one example, the city of New Prague has a relatively new facility. And their facility has a larger square footage. I believe the ceilings are a little bit lower, but similar ballpark. Their monthly utility costs have been $1,500 to $1,600. I believe the city, in their estimate, was estimating $2,325 per month on the utility costs. So I think there's some fluctuation where we don't know. Ultimately, where we come down is we want to pay our fair share, be good tenants and good citizens of the city. We do believe that the 5,000 estimate at this time is higher than I actually expect it to be based on the research we've done. We would suggest a $4,000 rent with the understanding that we will be happy to sit down and revisit once we actually get in the space to figure out what that is. Whether you come at that from the reduced square footage and the percentage of that, or the uncertainty over the estimates. I think the pro rata reduction in square footage from the 5,000 would put the rent from 5,000 down to 4,166. Based on our estimates, the operating costs would be around $3,500 per month, but building in some contingency on that, we were estimating at roughly 39. So I think the 4,000 is a midpoint that would cover what we believe the cost will be, and would be appropriate, all things considered, whether it's pro rata, whether it's estimates, whether it's adjusting for other groups and how other facilities are used. I think either way you get it, that's close to the ballpark. So the rest of the lease agreement, we've reviewed, I think generally looks fine. And again, I want to reiterate that we appreciate working with the city and the city staff over the years on this and look forward to the new facility. So,
Thank you, Mr. Berger.
other questions?
I've got one for the assistant director. Actually, two. Cheryl, I assume our city attorney looked this over?
Yes.
All right. And then how much staff or time did we put into the 5,000? You know, coming up with that number. I realize it's a new facility. It's kind of a crapshoot. Just curious to how much research we did with the 5,000.
Well, the Turner Group would be, in the lease agreement, they're responsible for maintaining everything
Right.
within those four walls. So we don't anticipate putting any staff time into that unless it's like part of the building or attached, attached to the building. That part is on us. But everything within the, operating within there would be the responsibility of TGA.
Right. And maybe I missed it, but at one point, maybe it's in the lease that I just skipped over it. Weren't we talking about, was it if they actually could sublease it to another entity of New Ulm?
They will be subleasing it, some space to the New Ulm High School for their
okay.
program. That's what you read.
Right.
Reminder for clarity, the relationship of the Turner Gymnastics Academy and the New Ulm Area Gymnastics Academy is
They have now
what?
merged, Turner Gymnastics and New Ulm Area Gymnastics Academy has merged and formed
Under
Turner
the Turner
Gymnastics
Gymnastics
Academy.
Academy name. Okay.
And the high school gymnastics will be separate?
Yes, but they have their own, well, I shouldn't, maybe they can speak to that a little better, but they share some of the coaches and they, share some of that part of it, but they're
Okay.
going to be operating within that facility, correct?
Yes. Sorry, Matthew Berger again. This is going to be the same relationship we currently have with the school, where the school operates their independent program. They sublease some of the space in our current, the former Nuaga, now TGA facility. And we would anticipate that relationship continuing as it has just in the new space.
Are there other opportunities for outside groups to use that space for, at some sort of rent that they might pay you? Or will that go to the city, rent?
Under the lease, my understanding is that rental, that sublease would go through TGA. And so, we would look at those with liability concerns and everything, but it is something we would look at. I believe the draft lease would require the city to approve any subleases, so it would be a joint thing, but it's something that I think we would explore as opportunities would come up. But what we anticipate is running the recreational gymnastics program, the competitive teams through TGA, and then the school program primarily with some open gym hours and things of that nature, and then the lease for the school team to practice and compete there as well.
One other quick question for you. You were actually looking at you thought 4,000 would be the dollar amount?
Yeah, that is what our estimates came up with. Again, depending on how you come at it, the 39 to 4100 was kind of the numbers that we had, and that number included some a 10% cushion for the unknown maintenance costs that we built into that based on our estimates.
I mean, and then granted, I assume you're going to be at the council meeting.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Cheryl, may I ask another question?
Yes, certainly.
The concessions, if I'm reading this correctly, the tenant will pay the owner 5% of annual gross concessions and any vending, I'm guessing, assuming in that rented space, back to the city. Is that consistent with our other contracts with other
Yes.
organizations? Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Yes, huh?
I'm not saying nothing.
Was there a city response to that 4,000 request?
And myself, I'm going to speak for myself, not the other counselors. I mean, I want the program, the facility to get used. I want it to get up and running and whatnot. My mind will be open to that, what other counselors are thinking. I mean, because we do not charge other organizations. Am I correct, Cheryl, that they're not completely self-funded, or the lease?
That is correct.
Right.
So, Chris Alden, City Manager. So my take on it would be, as Councilor Christian had pointed out, or Commissioner Christian had pointed out, most of our city facilities, Parks and Rec, don't cover 100% of the costs. And this being a new facility and, Turner and Nuega merging into one, they're going to up their program, and so I think starting at a lower dollar amount is probably going to help the organization out, get up off the ground. And that's why we're doing the 2-year agreement. So we can have 2 full years, 1 year for them to get up and running to full capacity, what they feel their capacity is going to be, and then a year operating at that full capacity. And then we can really look at revisiting not the terms, but the amount. And to me, it's always easier to increase the amount than it is to lower the amount. I mean, what building have you ever been in where they lower your rent at the end of the day? So, if you want to start at a little lower amount, help them get started, get a feeling for what their capacity is going to be, how they can grow the business in the facility, and look at other additional revenue terms, for them to get revenue in. And then in the 2 years, look at, increasing that amount if it needs to be, because we'll also be able to kind of figure out what the old utilities were versus the new utilities, and factor in a lot of that into the new amount.
Chris, are we being asked to determine an amount today when we approve this lease? Or are we being asked to approve the lease without an amount to be determined by city council or staff?
I would say it would carry a lot of weight if you had an amount that you were recommending to the council.
Okay.
I have a comment. I think there was a reason we put this particular building there, right?
Yep.
For gymnastics. And if we don't have Turner getting in there, we're not making any money at all, people.
Yep.
I mean, let's make it so that they can make it for at least for a while, and then talk about it after that.
I wish I had better information to determine where the $5,000, rent came from, to determine how that number was determined. Because Tom had shared, where he thought that, or Matt had shared where he thought we should be landing as compared to other facilities.
Yeah. So the $5,000 that came from a consultant that was hired with the architecture firm.
Okay.
And so they went out and they looked at other facilities. They had recently took in energy rates, potential revenue streams that the gymnastics could take to help get to that dollar amount. So, there again, they came around the 3,900 to 41, we did a little bit of research too, and it was somewhere between about 5,000 to about the 4,000 mark as well. So, I mean, it's both are within range of each other. But to me, like I said, I think it's easier to start at a lower amount and eventually get up to where you want to go if that's the case. And again, it gives us time to really look at how the program's going to run. What is their capacity going to be? Because they're going to essentially start out with the same number. They're just going to transfer it over and hopefully be able to expand the program in their new facility.
And again, backing Mr. Dalton, I myself would weigh it heavy. I'd like to see the board send council a recommendation.
I personally would recommend the 4,000 max, not higher.
A motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Motion's been made to set the rent at $4,000 per month.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to do that. And also to approve the lease agreement and send that on as a recommendation to the city council. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 8 is reports from commissioner and staff. First of all, we have the department activity report. Is there anything that you want to report on besides what you gave us?
I have no further information to report on.
Okay. Is there any comments, questions about that report? If not, then we need to move to receive
Just
and
a quick question. I'm sorry. Cheryl, just a quick question. On the Civic Center, what is in your earlier report, we've moved, a lot of different, do we have ice time still that we're offering to the community for the summer months, given all the activity that's happening at the Civic Center?
We have ice right now. We're committed to ice through May at this
Okay.
point. And city administration is in discussion yet about summer ice.
Okay.
Hopefully a decision will be made in the next week or two.
Okay.
any other questions? If not, then we need a motion to receive and order filed.
So move.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made second to receive and order filed the March 2021 Department Activity Report. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. 8.2, Staff Report.
I have nothing further to report. I kind of gave the bulk of our staff report in the renew report, the update.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions of staff? Okay, 8.3, commissioner reports. Any reports from commissioners? Okay. Number 9 is our next meeting, which is the second Monday of each month, which would put that May 10th, 2021, 4 p.m. in these chambers. And without anything else, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.